you've really got a whole system straightened out. So that is fabulous. So I can't remember how many you just listed. How many income streams do you have?
And I had a lot of people say, I want to become a hotel owner. And I said, you'd be surprised, but the path is actually one that you already know. You just may not realize.
Welcome, everybody, to the Course Consultant Show. I am very excited to have a very special guest, Acquania, and I am going to be talking all about money. So if you're not familiar with Acquania, Acquania is a financial coach, real estate investor, podcast host, and independent insurance producer for life insurance with the Legacy Builder Group. She's committed to helping people find financial freedom and build wealth. I absolutely love meeting with her, learning all about what she does to help her clients and course customers really build wealth in their life for whatever that looks like for them. So, Quania, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm very excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So you have a podcast as well. And you actually talk a lot about finances and finding and creating wealth on your own terms. So tell me a little bit more about how you got started as a financial coach.
That's an awesome question. I am excited on my podcast, The Purpose of Money. I share entrepreneurship stories because I feel that it's really important that women of color, especially, have inspirational stories they can hear and they can follow. So I like to do a lot of practical how-to episodes from experts who have created their own businesses or moms who are working 9 to 5s and building very successful side hustles. And I work with a lot of people with their money for a while now because I've always had an interest in personal finance. And in 2016, when I realized that most people didn't have $500 saved for an emergency and they needed help learning how to save, how to invest, and use life insurance to help their family, I got licensed for life insurance. And I started to take on clients for coaching because I noticed that some people just needed support to get budgeting down and really understand where to start on their financial journey. So that's where my experience started. And prior to that, I was just a very money savvy person. I've been investing for my future retirement and early retirement since age 16 and really involved in real estate investing as well.
That is fabulous. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about what you are working on for your business. You've talked about, your background, and I know that you actually created your own course. So tell me a little bit more about how you got started with that course as it relates to the financial topics that so many people need to learn more about.
Excellent. So I just launched the Purpose of Money Masterclass called Finances 101, where I go over the basics that you need for a successful financial journey. I start out the modules with budgeting, saving, and investing. And then once we get those down, we talk about ways to make multiple streams of income, including passive and active income. We talk about how to build credit and pay down debt. And most importantly, we talk about how to preserve the wealth you've built. So the 6th module is all about estate planning and life insurance. And I really focus on that last because that is the major thing that people need to do, but they tend to forget or they don't like to talk about. So I make talking about the fact that one day we'll die and how you can plan for it a normal conversation that you can actually start putting so many things in place, no matter how old you are, because it's really about the wealth that you've created, not the age that you think you should be before you talk about those things. And in my course, it's self-paced, it's online. So you really have the opportunity to repeat modules. And I also accompany it with a workbook that gives you exercises you can do as you go. So it helps you think through some of the things that are important if you have a family or a business and you might need to focus.
That's awesome. So it sounds like what you're telling me is when you created this course, you really thought through some of the struggles that you were seeing with your coaching clients, right?
Yes, absolutely. And some of the things that people tell me, they don't know what to do or where to get started. Or, I recently became a hotel owner last fall, and I had a lot of people say, I want to become a hotel owner. And I said, you'd be surprised, but the path is actually one that you already know. You just may not realize it's budgeting, saving, and investing.
Mhm.
And everyone's kind of shocked because they think it's some type of roadmap or gimmick that you have to follow. And I'm like, no, you just have to have the cash flow and the assets to really be able to level up from rentals to hotels. It's still the same capital, it's still the same mindset, right? And so once I articulated that, a lot of people were like, oh, well, maybe you're right. I can do that. I can be a hotel owner. I can be my own CEO. And that's what I like most about it is people are realizing ways to refresh how they think about these concepts and how they can set that foundation in place to help them level up in the future.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on the fact that you're a hotel owner. So you have multiple streams of income. I would love, because I'm also curious, what kinds of income are you leveraging in your own business and personal life so that you can choose the future that you want for yourself and your family?
That's a great question. I actually am still a 9 to 5 employee. And in my 9 to 5 job, I'm using a lot of my skills in contracting and networking to improve my business, right? Because once I learned the way to find the best vendors to work with and how you should establish contracts, I was able to incorporate that into my own business. But I'm using my 9 to 5 income to now save for my future freedom because my husband and I have created a plan where we're living off of one income, saving the second one. And we are also in my business, I earn income from life insurance, coaching, selling ads on my podcast, and affiliate marketing because I also like to sell other people's awesome products. And in addition to that, the real estate that we have, some of it is our first home that we lived in. Once we moved out, we rented it, and it's been a great rental ever since. And then I had some other rentals I sold, and I used that capital to purchase the hotel last October. And I decided to go into hotels because I realized for the same investment of cash, I could have a greater return, a 5 to 6 year investment period, and not have to do any of the work, not have to do any of the day to day. I don't have to make sure the employees show up to work. I don't have to make sure guests check in, but I know it's getting done because I have my monthly meetings with the other investors and the manager of the property.
Wow, you've really got a whole system straightened out. So that is fabulous. So I can't remember how many you just listed. How many income streams do you have?
I was always striving for 7. And I tell you, they are ebbs and flows. They're not constant streams, but that is the dream. When they're all constantly flowing, that's going to be the ultimate freedom day. I promise you.
Yes, yes, that's awesome. Yeah, so when it comes to creating your business and choosing the life that you want, I know that I I've been in personal finance before. That's actually how you and I met at FinCon back in 2019, I think. And we were talking about personal finance. You and I have been in some of the circles talking about how you can utilize personal finance to really leverage the goals that you want in life. Now, when it comes to personal finance and also for your business, the big B word, capital B as in boy, comes up quite frequently. So tell me a little bit more about budgeting. How do you use budgeting in your personal life to actually put money aside for things that you like and also things that you want?
I love that question. I have worked with people who hate budgets. They do call it a B word. And I've had people who love budgets. And it's always funny to see the different spectrum, the sophisticated spreadsheets, and then the I don't even know how to do a spreadsheet kind of folks. But in general, I do feel that budgets give you freedom to actually take control over your finances, allocate every dollar for the purpose you want, and really put forth the priorities you have. So in my budget, we're saving for investing every month. We're saving for college kids college funds. We're also handling our essential expenses, our mortgage, our utilities. But what I like to do personally is budget with multiple bank accounts. So I have a spreadsheet that outlines the limitations that I want to spend in each category, from utilities to food to fun stuff. But then I have multiple bank accounts that I label for specific things. I have a vacation fund, and I do contribute to that every paycheck because I want to take at least one vacation a quarter. Some of them are me and the girls, some of them are me and the family, but I want to make sure I'm traveling because that's a passion of mine. And then I have the bank account where this is where the mortgage comes out. This is where all the household utilities come out. And I fund that with enough money to support those bills every month. And I'm only putting in the money I need for those transactions and only paying out those transactions. So it's a lot easier to track versus one checking account and all the bills are coming out. And that's the main way that I've kind of worked it out. And it's worked really well for me and my husband, because then we know in the discretionary account, we can just spend what we want on what we like. And then when their balance is low, we stay home and we hang out as a family and spend less money. And that's what I think budgeting does. It gives you the power to decide how you want to spend your money, and it makes you aware of how you're spending your money. So if you don't like what you're spending it on, you can make changes.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what I'd love to know is what kind of tools and or software you're using to really make your life easier, because I know in the past I've used things like mint.com. My husband, I think, uses Truebill or something like that. So let me know on the software side, what kind of tools do you like to use?
I love to use mint.com and You Need a Budget. And I like You Need a Budget also because it gives students free accounts. So if you're a college student and you want to do budgeting, they give a free account to enrolled students. But I am old fashioned. I do still like a good old Excel spreadsheet. But those who are in my course, actually, I share all my spreadsheets with them because I have an asset tracker so I can monitor how our assets are growing. And then I have the budget spreadsheet to track the monthly expenses. And then I even have a business spreadsheet. I know a lot of businesses like to use QuickBooks and other tools to manage their business expenses, but I still like to use my business spreadsheet to track my income and my expenses to make sure I'm staying on the profitable side. And the best way for me to know I can afford something is to track it. And so I've been doing that really well. And I created the spreadsheet myself, but now I share it with people in my course.
So you mentioned that you have your assets and you have a tracking assets spreadsheet, which is great. You also mentioned that you share your tips and tutorials of how to use those and how you work that in your own life and business inside of your course. What about your business? What if there is someone maybe who's listening who is a freelancer, they're a side hustler, or maybe even they're just a full-time entrepreneur who has digital courses or products, and they might see that there's fluctuations in their income from month to month, as you said. What are tools that they could use to really make sure that they're not only just covering their bills, but also have enough to pay themselves?
That's a great question. So, the best model out there is actually the book Profit First. So, I definitely think just like we're supposed to pay ourselves first in personal finance, you should pay yourself first in your business. You've worked hard. This income has now come in. You could set a percentage, like 10% of each transaction, and that goes into the fund that you use to pay yourself. Because so many entrepreneurs will rob Peter to pay Paul and never pay themselves. And they say they're doing it for the sake of getting the business started. But if you want to have the mindset of a real CEO, you need to know that CEOs get paid, right? And it doesn't have to be 99% of the profits. It could be 10% to start out with, and then you grow as your business income grows. But you should make that a habit so that you are motivated to make enough to pay yourself and support your business.
This has been really great. I would want to know just specifically what kind of professionals should maybe an entrepreneur look to better utilize their money and really maximize their return, if you will?
That's a great question. So I'm going to give you probably not the traditional answer you're expecting, but I'll start out with the traditional folks. I definitely think once you have established maybe more than 25,000 in assets, you should look to work with a professional with your money, whether that's a financial coach, financial advisor, someone who has a securities license or life insurance. Find someone you trust that can give you guidance on your financial situation and also help you identify red flags. With my clients, we're looking at budgeting, we're looking at saving, we're looking at your investments, the return. We're also looking at your risk management. Have you gotten life insurance to protect your family in the event the worst happens? Have you gotten disability insurance in the event you can't do your job? What are you going to do to make income? Disability insurance will cover you and pay you when you can't work. And then, we continue to work with you as you grow financially to make sure that as milestones happen, we're prepared for that. But other people you should have on your team, I call them your A team, is definitely a CPA to help you manage taxes and how to save the most you can on taxes, do your tax planning. I also recommend that you have a business coach when you're ready to level up your business and you're not sure how to scale your business. Maybe you could use the experience and expertise of another entrepreneur to do that. And a lot of times, a business coach can help you figure out where you need to improve your system so you can scale. And those are just the main people on my A team. But it's all inclusive kind of thing because they all work together, and they should be keeping your best interests at hand, right? So that you're constantly growing and pushing yourself to do more. And last but not least, not a professional, but you need your peers, your same level peers that are leveling up to, the entrepreneurs around you that are constantly pushing you to be the best entrepreneur. You're not paying them to be there, but you are definitely like leaning on them, bouncing ideas off them, and hopefully celebrating with them.
Yeah, that was amazing. So I really do think that there's really a power of finding a network of friends that are in business. And I want to say that, there's three types of people that I find are really helpful to get to know for your business and for your own goals. So you mentioned business coach is one. Yes, so somebody who can challenge you, somebody who can really give you some feedback on your ideas, give you some clear steps, because as a business owner, you always want to be thinking about what is the next goal? How can I celebrate what I've accomplished, and what things could you do differently, and or what things can you really push into that you're doing really well? And then the second thing I think is really great that you mentioned is peers and groups. I think that a lot of the times I meet people who maybe they're not a client or a customer of mine, but they already have a lot of experience in business and they really just want to be around other people with the same interests and really the same goals. I've met many people, including yourself, who really give me a lot of encouragement along the way, because as a business owner there's so many things and obstacles in the way, especially if you're identifying as a woman of color. So the other thing, number three, you said, really surround yourself with professionals who can help you meet certain goals. So I've hired many consultants who maybe did one or two things really, really excellently. Recently, I hired an email marketing strategist to look over my emails. Can I write my emails myself? Yes. Have I spent years writing emails myself? Yes. But there are some people that know more in depth, more in detail about a certain subject that, if you have the finances to invest in those resources, it's really helpful.
And I want to share a quick story on my experience. So, as I prepared to transition to full time entrepreneurship, one of the things I realized I needed was a really developed systems, my standard operating procedures in one place, but also awareness of what systems could I have that make it even easier for me when I'm not trying to juggle mom, 9 to 5 and business, right? But when I'm full time and I can focus on other things. And I found the perfect person that's a systems guru, but I realized like to work with them one on one was a lot more than I was able to spend right now. But then I realized they had a day workshop where they go over a lot of their same strategies, but you just have have to be present for 4 hours and take notes. And I was like, you know what? That's a great way to get an introduction into working with them and to get the knowledge. And then I will save for the big kahuna purchase that I want to implement about 3 months before I make the big leap. So there's like, a lot of planning that you can do to prepare yourself for the bigger purchases your business may need and take advantage of the smaller low hanging fruit that you can do right now.
Exactly. I like that you said save up for the big huna. That's great. Because you know what, there are people that I bookmark and I go, I want to work with them. I'm not ready right now to work with them. And vice versa. I'm sure that there's people out there who, like what you do and are probably thinking, okay, let me just save up a little bit and go into it. And it's okay. Everybody has a different ability financially, and we're all here learning together and trying to accomplish our next goal. So thank you so much, Acquania, for meeting with me. Now, if somebody really wanted to get to know a little bit more about what it is that you do and how they can connect up with you, how would they get in contact with you?
Please check out my website, thepurposeofmoney.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at the purpose of money. And I'm also on Twitter, occasionally tweeting here and there at purpose_money. So send me a DM, go to my website and sign up for a free consultation so we can chat. I'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much. And friends, for those of you who are listening, make sure that you check out all those links and check out all of the resources that I am going to share in the show notes. So thanks again for joining me today. It was such a pleasure talking with you.
You too. Thanks so much.
Hey, if you enjoyed this training, make sure that you join our free Facebook group where we have weekly training sessions and conversations about how to create and sell profitable online training and courses.